Welcome back to Thomas's Mustache. Today we are doing another first impression. This time we will be concentrating on the alternative hair pomade from Captain Fawcett's Pomade lineup. Now, a bit of background. Previously I have had no experience with hair pomades before watching the recent Captain Fawcett advertisement about an upcoming lineup of pomade hair products. It certainly sparked my curiosity, so much so that I decided that I would very quickly acquire them as soon as I could and get some practice in with an alternative product. Even to the point where I've given myself a self-done haircut, hoping that in a few months' time it will be a great length for some nice styles. Now, the previous first impression that I've done for the Captain Fawcett Pomade lineup was the classic pomade with the gloss finish. This particular pomade is the putty pomade with a slick finish. Now, what are the differences? Currently, I don't know the differences between classics and putties and clays, but with time I hope to learn. Now, this particular product, a bit of background, is the Captain Fawcett's Putty Pomade. It retails for £19 sterling, and it comes in a very decorative case. It is 100 milliliters, or 3.4 fluid ounces. Now for the description. This efficacious hair styling pomade provides firm control over medium thick hair, splendidly versatile for a wide range of styles, requiring grittier holds, with a slick finish. Ensures the discerning gentleman never has a hair out of place, unless, of course, he chooses to style it that way. The fragrance is subtle and sophisticated, combining verdant wood notes and a hint of spice, sharpened with citrus. Now, as I've said in the previous first impression for the classic pomade, the tin is what first grabbed my attention with the product. The tin is so decorative and very eye-catching, very appealing, that it just sparks such curiosity. Now, the tin is metal, and it has decorative golden banding, or perhaps it's brass, as well as these beautiful ornate leaves on the center area here. It is just so visually pleasing. It would certainly make a good centerpiece on one's shelf. The tin, of course. Now, this pomade, as well as the other one, they are both, I do believe, let's just double check, they are water-based pomades, which means that they will rinse out very easily. Now then, with wetted hair, and now I have just dried it, I will let it reach that optimum moisture content to put this in wet, and we are going to have a look at the color. Now, I am not entirely sure what color a putty pomade should be, or what texture, so it will be a learning experience for me. But perhaps you already would have some form of idea on that one. So we are going to open up and have a look. Okay, well, as you can see, there has been some shifting during transit. That is to be expected, as it probably gets knocked around quite well. But the classic pomade had no shifting at all. It would probably just go to show the sort of ingredients in here are a little more, perhaps, hydrating. But the physical attributes of it look quite intact, just shifted to the side, probably a big bump. But such a beautiful color here, a lovely cream color here, very lovely indeed. But of course you can see with more detail here about the dark interior of the tin itself. Now putty, I am unsure about putty. I have no knowledge of it. But this is a learning experience which I will talk about in my next video. But in the interior part of the cap you can see it says keeping a stiff upper quiff regardless. Now in the previous review, first impression, I said that I was totally new to pomades, basically. Very little experience so far. But I am currently totally new to putty, so this is going to be curious. Now the texture of it I assume is going to be smooth, but we can have a look here. Very nice. It's like a cream. It is like scooping cream, very warm butter, I would say. It's like you leave the butter outside, you just stick your finger in there on a hot day. It has its structure, physical, almost like its melting point is just slightly above the human body's temperature. So even on my finger it's firm, but any sort of pressure is going to work it in. So I am now going to attempt to apply this to my hair, and we'll see what sort of dew we can work with. So mixing in the palm, wow. I happen to quite enjoy butter as a addition to my meals, so it's almost like a fantasy, I suppose, to just rub it in my hands like that. So let's go here. That smells pretty good. Quite slightly different from the classic pomade. It says here wood notes, spices, and citruses. Yes, I can smell the wood note, that's for sure. Perhaps some spice, top notes there of spice. The citrus, I think, will take some time to understand it, but there it is mixed on in. And we're just gonna get it in my hair. Now one difficulty I have, and it's no fault of the pomade, is that my hair grows in multiple different directions. At the back I have some troublemakers, and at the front I have some troublemakers. So I do require some extra just at the back, working from the back forward, so that I can really tame those troublesome hairs. So we're going to get back here. They are very stubborn, I would put it. And in the past I didn't quite care because I never did anything with my hair, besides the odd gel up as a younger lad. But as an adult I just let my hairs do what they wished. But now I'm going to make an attempt to style this, and I'm hoping to try something new. First I'll put the lid on, and I will begin. So with clean comb, let's begin this. I'll take it forward first. I've already combed my hair out, so I've gotten the knots out. Even though it's a cream color, it does not change the color of the hair. Does it not brighten it? I can feel some more resistance compared to the Classic. The Classic was for lighter hair, but this is for medium to thick hair, so perhaps it means more control. That looks pretty interesting. There's some unique styling going on here. Quite like that. Maybe I can do something with it. Perhaps like a right good troublemaker. But let's try something else now. It's still quite pliable. Well, there you go. Now, hopefully I don't look totally ridiculous, but I think it's a nice change up from the usual style. I will be the first to admit my hair is not long enough for some of these more exotic styles. Perfectly fine. My hair is probably a few months away from where I'd like it to be in length on top, at least. So it's a nice little playtime, I suppose, getting used to the product. But one thing that I do notice is that the product begins to take hold immediately, and you better have that style in mind when you are putting it in your hair, because there's very little time to play with it. I find it takes action much quicker than the Classic gloss finish pomade. Not a bad thing, but if you're new like me, you better know what you're doing quick, because it needs to get into position lickety-split. But it's great, you know. I find that it goes in easy, a little bit more resistance than the Classic, which is a sign, of course. The Classic is for more of a finer hairstyle, perhaps not needing to tame that thick hair as much. It's not designed for the thicker hairs, so this one has a little more resistance going in, but still easier than the competition I've used, which is not a bad thing. No pain or anything, but I do know that my hair is not long enough, ideally, but stay tuned, right? Come on back in a few months if you'd like to see what it looks like when it's longer, and I'm sure you'll be much impressed, hopefully. So, final thoughts on Captain Fawcett's Putty Hair Pomade with the slick finish. I would say pretty good. It is different from the Classic, which is a good thing, because it's good to have variety of products. My knowledge of putty pomades is incredibly limited, but as I said in the Classic pomade first impression, I do plan on continuously improving my technique, my knowledge, and hopefully when my hair is long enough, I will have the skills necessary to really work the hairs the way that I want them to be. Not just experimenting, but with knowledge to back up my movements. I'm not as intuitive as some YouTubers who have much more experience, in which I can see them and they do it in the mirror and it's just perfect movements. I'm not quite there yet, but hopefully one day. But maybe you're a new pomade user as well, and you want to see a new pomade user use the pomade. Well, then this is the perfect first impression for you, because I'm as green as they come for pomades and putties and all other sorts. So, would I recommend it? Well, I think that it does quite a good job on my hairs, not counting those little tiny hairs on the side of my shave job that refuse to obey. We'll let them grow a little bit, and then they can decide to go up or down. Right now they want to stick out like bug antennae, but I would say for the hair on top, I think it looks pretty good. I like it. Pretty unique style. It works quick. Have a style in mind. Maybe practice with some more traditional pomade styles and pomade forms before using this slick one if you're new to pomade use, so that you can get your technique and your speed down, because this does take effect quicker than the Classic, which is not a bad thing, but be prepared. Other than that though, I would say I like it. I will continue to use it, and there will be a long-term review coming up in the future, or perhaps a full review, and then who knows, maybe in a few years I'll do another long-term review. But for now, I'm going to thank you for coming and watching my first impression of Captain Fawcett's Putty Pomade Slick Finish, and I hope to see you soon. Toodaloo.